To hear this and many more audiobooks not available on YouTube in a podcast feed, please visit the first link in the description below, and thank you for your support. The Governance of China, Volume 4 by Xi Jinping. Audiobook Part 3. The People First. Always put the people first. May 22nd, 2020. Main part of the speech at the deliberation session of the Inner Mongolia delegation to the third session of the 13th National People's Congress. The CPC has its foundations in the people and maintains a close bond with the people. The people-centered philosophy of development embodies our party's ideals and convictions, its nature and purpose, and its aspiration and founding mission. It is also the result of an in-depth reflection on the party's development and practical experience. The fundamental goal for the party since its founding in uniting the people and leading them in revolution, construction, and reform is to give them a better life. The party has never wavered in pursuing this goal, no matter what challenges and pressure it faces, no matter the sacrifice and the cost. The people-centered philosophy of development is not an empty slogan, but a principle that underpins all our decisions and plans, and every aspect of our work. First, always put the people first. As an ancient Chinese said, a sovereign who shares the interests of the people will have their support. A sovereign who denies the interests of the people will provoke their opposition. Footnote 1. Guanzi. This is a collection of writings attributed to Guanzhong. Guanzhong, unknown to 645 BC, also known as Guanzi, was a statesman of the state of Qi in the early spring and autumn period. End of footnote 1. The Constitution of the CPC states clearly that the party has no special interests of its own, and it shall, at all times, give top priority to the interests of the people. This salient feature distinguishes our party, a Marxist party, from many others. Confronted by the rapid spread of COVID-19, from the very beginning we have stated clearly that people's lives and health should be our top priority. We have mobilized the best doctors, the most advanced equipment, and the most urgently needed resources across the country, and committed ourselves fully to the treatment of the sick. All the costs of the treatment are borne by the state. We act on our belief that the people come first and life matters most. We are willing to protect people's lives and health at any cost. At present, China faces growing pressure in preventing inbound cases and guarding against domestic resurgence. It is necessary to tighten epidemic prevention and control and improve the regularized epidemic response mechanism to prevent domestic resurgence. Second, rely on the people. The people are our greatest strength in governance. Under the unified leadership of the CPC Central Committee, the whole country has been mobilized and has joined the battle against COVID-19, and governments at all levels and the whole of society are involved, establishing an impermeable network and forming an indestructible force for joint prevention and control. Considering the national interest and the general situation, the people have consciously subordinated their own needs to the overall interests of epidemic control, becoming the fundamental force in the battle. As an ancient Chinese said, if you can employ the strength of the people, you will be invincible under heaven. If you can employ the wisdom of the people, no sage will be cleverer than you. Footnote 2. Chen Shou, Records of the Three Kingdoms. San Guo Zhi. Chen Shou, 233 to 297, was an official and historian of the Western Jin dynasty. End of footnote 2. China's socialist democracy is the most broad-based, genuine, and effective democracy that safeguards the fundamental interests of the people. we must uphold people's democracy and to better integrate the people's wisdom and strength into the undertakings of the party and the people. The Inner Mongolia Autonomous Region was the first ethnic autonomous region in China. I hope you will uphold and improve the system of regional ethnic autonomy, strengthen exchanges and interactions among different ethnic groups, accelerate the pace of economic and social development, and continue to take the lead in promoting ethnic unity and progress. We must rely closely on the people in coordinating epidemic control with economic and social development. The epidemic has had a substantial impact on China's economic and social development, but the economic fundamentals for stable and long-term progress have not changed. A coin has two sides. The epidemic is a crisis, but to some extent, it has generated new opportunities. It is necessary to take proactive action and launch effective measures to press ahead with major projects, support market players, accelerate industrial restructuring, and improve grassroots governance. Targeted efforts should be made in mapping out major plans, reforms, and policies that will serve as drivers of high-quality development and high-efficiency governance. This way, we will keep the initiative and achieve progress in our response to that crisis. Third, constantly work for the benefit of the people. The purpose of economic and social development is, in the final analysis, to fulfill the people's desire for a better life. We must ensure that the people live and work in peace and contentment, and we must work hard to address practical issues of public concern, including employment, education, social security, medical care, housing, pension, food safety, and public order. We must make concrete efforts year after year to deliver tangible results and real benefits to the people. Inner Mongolia announced in March that all of its impoverished counties had emerged from poverty. Further efforts should be made to consolidate and expand progress in poverty alleviation through economic development and employment, to provide effective follow-up support for relocation of the poor from inhospitable areas, and to integrate poverty alleviation into rural revitalization. The epidemic has increased the pressure on employment this year. We must succeed in generating employment for key groups, including graduating college students, rural migrant workers, and demobilized military personnel. The epidemic has exposed weaknesses and shortcomings in our public health system. Immediate action must be taken to improve the public health system and the system for preventing, controlling, and treating serious epidemics, to reinforce community-level epidemic response capacity in both urban and rural areas, and to carry out extensive public health campaigns so as to better protect people's lives and health. We must consider serving the people and working for their well-being to be our primary political goal. The party measures job performance of its members by how much good they have done for the people. Party members and officials, particularly senior ones, must be aware that the power in their hands and the positions they hold are entrusted by the party and the people, and can only be used for advancing the party's undertakings for the benefit of the people. Leading officials at all levels must take the right attitude towards power, job performance, and career, and take concrete actions to benefit the local people during their term in office, rather than indulging their vanity, pursuing unearned prestige, or achieving worthless outcomes. For example, eco-environmental protection is of vital importance to the people. The eco-environmental conditions in Inner Mongolia have a critical impact not only on the life and development of all ethnic groups in the region, but also on the eco-environmental security of the north, northeast, and northwest of the country, and on the nation as a whole. Over the years, you have carried out key environmental projects, fought a tough battle against pollution, and taken important steps to build a beautiful Inner Mongolia. Local officials and people have persevered for more than 60 years in controlling the Mu-Us Desert, 70% of which has been brought under control. The local environment as a whole is improving. What a great achievement! We should remain confident in our eco-environmental strategy and prioritize eco-environmental protection and green development. We should take comprehensive measures to improve the eco-environment in key locations, such as the Yellow River Basin, Hulun Lake, Wuliangsu Lake, Dai Hai Lake, Wuhai Lake, and the surrounding areas. Efforts to improve the quality of air, water, and soil should continue in this region so as to further fortify the green barrier in North China. Fourth, take root in the people. To achieve long-term governance, our party must maintain close ties with the people, think and act in their interests, and share weal and woe with them. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, held in 2012, we have exercised full and strict governance over the party. Firm action has been taken to combat corruption and the four malfeasances of favoring form over substance, bureaucratism, hedonism, and extravagance. We have launched education campaigns among all party members to increase awareness of honoring the party's mass line and its original aspiration and founding mission. Our goal is to educate and guide party members and officials to share the future with the people and stay truly connected to them. To achieve this goal, we should make every effort to combat corruption and oppose any tendency towards favoring form over substance and bureaucratism, and we should prevent any disengagement from the people, which may lead to a loss of public support. The people's support is our top political priority. September 17, 2020. Main part of the speech at a meeting with grassroots representatives. The sudden outbreak of COVID-19 represented a challenge to our efforts to fulfill the 13th Five-Year Plan, 2016 to 2020, and achieve the annual targets and tasks set at the start of this year. Making people's lives and health our top priority, we waged an all-out people's war on the virus. After making initial progress in containing its spread, we coordinated epidemic prevention and control with the reopening of the economy to restore economic and social order as soon as possible. On September 8th, we held a grand gathering in Beijing to award national medals and honorary titles of the PRC, the highest state honors, to outstanding individuals and groups in the fight against the epidemic. I delivered a speech at the meeting. Since the flood season began this year, severe floods have occurred in the Yangtze and Huaihe river basins. At times, water in major rivers and lakes exceeded the warning level, and some places were severely affected. The central leadership made timely arrangements for flood control and disaster relief. Under the guidance and coordination of the central departments concerned, the affected provinces, including Hunan, have done their best in flood control and disaster relief and sped up post-disaster recovery and reconstruction. Looking at the whole world, we are in the front ranks in both epidemic response and economic recovery. Achieving this success has been no easy matter. What impresses me most is that, in the face of urgent and difficult tasks and dangerous and severe challenges, our people have always acted with one heart, united their efforts, and fought tenaciously. They have made a great contribution. These victories of our party and our country are all victories won by our people, who are the true heroes. The people's expectation for a better life is what drives us forward. Sound guidelines, policies, and development plans must accord with the will, aspirations, and expectations of the people. They should come from the people and serve their interests. Over the decades, our party has always required relevant departments to conduct in-depth research and studies at the grassroots level and to understand and gather information firsthand before issuing important guidelines and policies and making major decisions and arrangements. Seeking truth from facts is an important element of our party's guiding principles. When our party was headquartered in Yan'an in the 1930s and 1940s, Mao Zedong emphasized, communists should set an example in being practical, and for only by being practical can they fulfill their appointed tasks. Footnote 1. Mao Zedong, the role of the Chinese Communist Party in the National War. Selected works of Mao Zedong, Volume 2, English edition, Foreign Languages Press, Beijing, 1965, page 198, end of footnote 1, footnote 2, Ibid, end of footnote 2. Returning to the main text. He pointed out that to conduct research and studies, first direct your eyes downward, do not hold your head high, and gaze at the sky. Second, hold fact-finding meetings. Footnote 3. Mao Zedong, Preface and Postscript to Rural Surveys. Selected Works of Mao Zedong, Volume 3, English Edition, Foreign Languages Press, Beijing, 1965, page 11. End of footnote 3. Footnote 4. Ibid, page 12. End of footnote 4. Returning to the main text. The formulation of the 5-year plan involves all aspects of economic and social development and is closely related to the work and life of the people. It is necessary to strengthen top-level design and at the same time collect ideas from the people, encouraging all sectors of society to submit opinions and suggestions in various ways. Among the representatives of grassroots officials and the public present here, some are from rural areas, urban communities, and enterprises. Some are from the fields of education, science, and technology, healthcare, the judiciary, and law enforcement. Some are delegates to party congresses, deputies to people's congresses, and members of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, CPPCC, at various levels, model workers, and poverty alleviation officials. Some are from the new social group. Footnote 5. This refers to groups of people that have emerged with the development of the socialist market economy, mainly management and technical personnel in private and foreign-funded enterprises, those working in intermediary agencies and social organizations, freelancers, and new media professionals. End of footnote 5. Some are migrant workers, couriers, and online store owners. You all work on the front line of reform and development in various sectors. You are directly involved in economic and social activities and have most frequent contact with the public. Thus, you have a more realistic perception and experience of how effectively the party's guidelines and policies are implemented. Your opinions and suggestions can better reflect the grassroots reality and express the people's wishes. You have just made some very good speeches, going straight to the point and offering a wealth of valuable opinions and suggestions. They are all fresh and practical. They help us to understand more about the situation at the grassroots. Departments concerned must study them thoroughly and make full use of them. Not long ago, we launched an online activity to solicit opinions on the 14th 5-year plan, 2021 to 2025. Officials and the public have paid careful attention and participated extensively. Many of the opinions and suggestions were directly addressed to me, as I welcome letters from the public. These opinions and suggestions reflected problems of general concern, which have also been referenced in your contributions. They should be duly addressed in the Central Committee's recommendations for formulating the 14th 5-year plan. Now, I would like to share with you some of my thoughts. First, make best use of the favorable environment and build momentum for development. The 14th 5-year plan period is the first 5-year plan period in our country's new journey towards a modern socialist country after achieving moderate prosperity. At present, and for a period to come, our country is still in an important period of strategic opportunity for development, but both the opportunities and the challenges we face will be subject to further changes. The world today is undergoing change on a scale unseen in a century, whose evolution has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. The international landscape is more complex. Economic globalization is facing opposition, and unilateralism and protectionism prevail in some countries. We have to seek development in a world with more uncertainties and instabilities. China has entered a stage of high-quality development and has good prospects for economic growth. At the same time, it still faces a prominent problem of imbalanced and insufficient growth, and many shortcomings and weaknesses still hamper high-quality development. Whatever the difficulties, challenges, obstacles, and changes, we shall never cover them up, avoid them, turn a blind eye to them, panic, or become confused. I have said on many occasions that the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation will be no easy task. It will not be achieved by simply banging drums and gongs. Glory comes from adversity. No country or nation can achieve modernization easily, despite the deep and complex changes that have taken place in the internal and international environment. The fundamentals of long-term stability and progress in our economy remain unchanged. Our economy is still solid and resilient with great potential and significant scope for readjustment, and it is supported by many policy tools. These basic features have not changed, nor have the strengths and conditions behind our development. China has the world's largest and most comprehensive manufacturing system, with strong production capacity and the ability to provide complete supporting facilities and services. It has a super large domestic market and huge potential demand for investment. We must effectively analyze the general situation and understand the general trends of development. We should follow the fundamental principle of pursuing progress while ensuring stability, uphold the new development philosophy, and coordinate development and security. We will move faster to create a double development dynamic, with the domestic economy as the mainstay and the domestic economy and international engagement providing mutual reinforcement. Second, uphold the people-centered philosophy of development. The people's support is our top political priority. Our party serves the people wholeheartedly, honors its commitment to serving the public good, exercises power in the interests of the people, and considers it our goal to meet the people's aspirations for a better life. These principles have been both stated and followed over almost 100 years. During the Long March in the 1930s, when the Red Army passed through Shazhou village in Wenming Township of Rucheng County, 3 female soldiers cut their only quilt in half and gave one half to a poor villager. This story has since been remembered and retold. In the fight against COVID-19, we have, from the very beginning, stated explicitly that people's lives and health should be regarded as the top priority. To limit the spread of the virus to the greatest extent possible, we have mobilized the best medical workers, the most advanced equipment, and the most urgently needed resources from across the country, all of which have been devoted to treating patients, with all the costs covered by the government. When mapping out the 14th five-year plan, we must follow the principle that development is for the people and its fruits should be shared by the people. Efforts should be made to improve people's daily lives and make up for shortcomings while ensuring high-quality development. We must focus more on issues of public concern that affect people's lives, take more targeted measures, and ensure effective implementation to solve each and every one of them, so that the people will have a growing, guaranteed, and sustained sense of gain, fulfillment, and security. Third, strengthen party organizations and governments at the grassroots level. If the foundation is not solid, the building trembles. Only with strong party organizations and governments at the grassroots level can the foundations of Chinese socialism be solid. During the 14th five-year plan period, greater efforts should be made in our foundational work to improve grassroots governance. We should strengthen and improve the party's overall leadership over grassroots work and improve grassroots organizations in rural areas so as to provide strong political organizational guarantees for comprehensive rural revitalization. We should strengthen and reform grassroots social governance and carry on and improve the Feng Qiao model in the new era, building stronger urban and rural communities, strengthening grid-based management and services, and improving the mechanism to prevent, mediate, and resolve social conflicts and disputes by multiple means at the grassroots level. Footnote 6. In the early 1960s, the officials and citizenry of Fengqiao Town in Zhejiang Province created the Fengqiao practice, which emphasized solving problems in situ rather than passing them up to higher authorities. The practice has developed quickly over the intervening decades, especially after the 18th CPC National Congress, and is now a model for promoting community-level governance and social harmony. Relying on the people, the party committee and government devote their efforts to preventing disputes and solving problems, so as to maintain social stability and promote development. End of footnote 6. All of this will contribute to social stability. Fourth, be role models as grassroots representatives. The achievement of moderate prosperity is not the end, but the starting point of a new life and a new round of hard work. The people have wisdom and infinite creativity. We need to organize, mobilize, and unite them, and fully arouse their enthusiasm and initiative. Party members and officials should play an exemplary role. Deputies to people's congresses should form closer ties with the people. CPPCC members should maintain contact with and serve the people in their respective sectors, and rural workers who have become prosperous should work harder to lead others forward, so that all are united in striving for a new and better life. Finally, I want to emphasize that the achievements of our socialist country have not fallen like manna from heaven, nor have they been granted by others. They have been achieved by our people through hard work, wisdom, and courage under the leadership of the party. For a country with a population of 1.4 billion, individual contributions gather into an earth-shaking force. If everyone can do one thing or one job well, the cause of the party and the state will advance one step further. All of you are from the grassroots or the front line, and you represent various sectors and industries. You should have firm ideals and convictions and study hard to improve yourselves. You should work hard in a pragmatic manner, taking one step at a time and handling every piece of work, big or small, with the utmost care and attention. I believe you will experience greater fulfillment in life through hard work, and together we will create a happy life and bright future for all. Earn and keep the people's support in consolidating party leadership. June 25th and September 14th, 2021. Excerpts from two speeches made on June 25th and September 14th, 2021. Part 1. Our party has won the people's wholehearted support because it has always stayed true to its original aspiration and founding mission, and faithfully observed its fundamental purpose of wholeheartedly serving the people. This is also why our party was able to grow in strength from a small and fragile organization, rise time and again after setbacks, and fight its way through dangers. The people are the root of our vitality, the foundation of our governance, and the source of our strength. I have reiterated on many occasions that the country is its people, and the people are the country. As we have fought to establish and consolidate our party's leadership over the country, we have in fact been fighting to earn and keep the people's support. My purpose is to warn all party members that having served in office as long as we have, no danger is greater than forgetting our founding mission or distancing ourselves from the people. As long as we stay together with and work for the people, they will steadfastly follow the party's leadership, and the party will be able to flourish. All members should further the understanding of our original aspiration in the context of the party's history, follow the people-centered development philosophy, and never waver in our drive towards national rejuvenation. From the speech at the 31st Group Study Session of the Political Bureau of the 19th CPC Central Committee, June 25th, 2021. Part 2. Reviewing this rich revolutionary history, we see how the older generation of revolutionaries gave top priority to the interests of the party, stood with the overwhelming majority of the working people, and sat on the side of the people. Their devotion to serving the people is of great educational value. The reason why our party was able to lead the people to victory in the revolution is that the party won their support, and many hundreds of millions of people chose to side firmly with us. We must carry forward our revolutionary traditions and fine conduct, and always put the people's interests first. We should stay true to the party's original aspiration and founding mission, follow the mass line, and respect the people's principal position. We should always stand with the people and think and act in their interests. From the speech during a visit to the site of the former office of the CPC Sui-de Prefectural Committee in Yulin, Shanxi Province, September 14th, 2021. The people's concerns are my concerns, and the people's expectations are my goals. December 31st, 2021. Part of the 2022 New Year message. In a large and populous country, we have our own list of priorities. The myriad of things we attend to all boil down to matters concerning every household. During my visits to different places, I have seen and heard a lot of things which I find very inspiring and rewarding. Every time I visit people in their homes, I ask if they still have any difficulties, and I remember everything they share with me. The people's concerns are my concerns, and the people's expectations are my goals. Having spent long years in the countryside when I was young, I know precisely what poverty feels like. Thanks to the sustained efforts of the Chinese people from generation to generation, those who once lived in poverty no longer have to worry about food or clothing or access to education, housing, and medical insurance. Realization of a moderately prosperous society in all respects and elimination of extreme poverty is what the party has delivered to our people, and it is also our contribution to the world. To ensure that everyone leads a better life, we must never rest on what we have achieved, and there is still a long way to go. Our party's mission is to serve the people. January 26th, 2022. Part of his speech during a visit to Linfen, Shanxi Province. Our party's mission is to serve the people and to improve their lives. Your village is in the Luliang Mountains, near the Yellow River, and across the river is Shanxi Province. In the late 1960s, I was sent to work as a farmer in Shanxi's Yanchuan County, which is not far from here. Its hilly terrain and ravines are similar to the landscape here. The lowest plateau is our home, and the home of our ancestors. It has nurtured our Chinese civilization. In the past, people of my age led a hard life. Even those living in cities wore patched clothes. I used to spin and weave during my farming years. In the past, I was always dismayed and concerned to see how hard life was for some people, but now our rural areas have changed significantly. Food, clothing, and consumer goods have all improved, and the lack of basic necessities that troubled the Chinese for several thousand years has been addressed once and for all. During this trip to Shanxi, I have been to 2 villages. I am delighted to see that you now lead a life of contentment. Yet, we still have a long way to go. We have accomplished our first centenary goal and are now on a journey towards the second centenary goal, that is, to build China into a modern, socialist country in all respects. This goal, however, cannot be realized without modernizing agriculture and rural areas. We should pool our efforts to consolidate gains in poverty elimination with endeavors to revitalize the countryside. In this way, we will help our rural people to live a modern life with a bright future. The sole aims of the CPC and governance are to meet the needs of the people and give its all in serving them and striving for their well-being. This has never changed throughout its 100 years of history. Numerous revolutionary martyrs and forefathers sacrificed their lives for the cause or committed themselves to the reform and development of the country. We owe all of our achievements to them. We will stay true to the party's original aspiration and founding mission, and do solid work generation after generation, so that by the centenary of the PRC in 2049, our nation will stand taller and stronger in the East, and make a greater contribution to humanity. End of part 3.